So the other day I picked up this BPS knife, and my only real negative for it, I did a review on it, this leather sheath is really tight. So I thought today we would take a few minutes and walk through wet forming this so that it can be a little more molded to contour the knife. Let's go check it out. Should be a pretty quick one. Okay, so our list of supplies here. Obviously we've got the knife in the sheath. I have a cup of water. My wife's food saver, please don't tell her. Some paper towels, and I've already started making a pouch here. I'll show you what that's for here in just a moment. So first thing we're going to do, I'm just going to take and pull the knife out. I'll go ahead and just take and dampen one of these paper towels. And I'm just going to start wetting down the sheath, paying particular attention to this top section up here where most of the contouring needs to actually happen. Up here, just try to get it, I don't want it soaked, but I want it pretty darn wet. All down inside here. The thicker the leather is, the harder it is to get that contouring in there. But this isn't super thick, so this should work pretty well. Get that scrubbed in there. Get nice and damp. Alright, so now that it's good and damp here, shake any of the excess water out. I'm going to force the knife down in here. Get in there nice and snug where I want it. Take and set this aside. I'm going to pull off 2 or 3 more paper towels here. I'm just going to dampen these up a little bit too. I don't want them soaked. I'm going to squeeze out most of the excess water, but still leave it pretty wet. I'm going to take this, leaf it back out. I'm just going to wrap it around the knife in this area that I'm really trying to contour. And we've got that in there, we kind of got it pushed into place. I'll take this, slide this down into my little food saver pouch, and then let's seal this thing up. All right, so now we have our knife set up, and the sealing here should keep plenty pressure on this leather, should help it mold up. We're going to let this sit here for about an hour and come back and take this thing back apart and see how it looks.
1 hour later.
All righty, so this has been sitting up for an hour now. Let's crack it open and see what we've got. Take the scissors here and break the seal on it. Off. I did forget to mention earlier, you definitely want to focus more on the front as opposed to the back on the moisture. But, and we can see now it's actually holding that shape in here. So I'm going to set this up now and let this dry overnight and see what we have tomorrow. And in the meantime, I'm going to go oil my knife so moisture doesn't mess with it. It's looking good though. It's right down in there nice and snug. Perfect. All right, we'll see how this looks in the morning.
The next day.
All right, so here we are the next morning. Everything's pretty much dried out. Had it sitting up all night. Still a little damp inside, so I'll leave it a little bit longer to dry before I permanently leave the knife in there, but you guys can see it's holding that shape really well. So now our knife slides down in there, fits snugly, securely, but I'm not having to force it down in there. So this is going to work quite nice. Now I'm going to go through and throw some beeswax on here just to kind of seal this and do a little waterproofing. I just use this High Country beeswax. I think I got this at a Cavender's, I believe. Just take the heat gun, warm the leather up a bit. Heating it up always seems to help the leather. Seems to take the oil in, or seems to take the wax in a lot better. Helps with waterproofing. Flip over and do the belt loop here. Now let's do the back. Over, do the back side. Try to get this in all the little nooks and crannies. So now we can let this set up and dry, and we should be good to go with our sheath, ready for the field. Much better. All right, hopefully you guys found that beneficial. It's not something I do very often, but it is pretty straightforward, at least the way I do it. It seems to work pretty well. It's always worked for me at least. And I figured since it was going to be a little quick process, I'd take you guys down the road with me. As always, if you are out watching this from the trail, just remember, left foot, right foot, repeat. We'll see you out there soon.